Hey guys, and welcome to this week's Wi-Fi Wednesday. I'm going to go live on Facebook right now, and we're going to get things kicked off right away. And welcome everyone to this week's Wi-Fi Wednesday. My name is Kevin Z. I am founder and CEO of My Wi-Fi Networks, and we're actually just going to jump right into it. I am super excited to share with you guys that the new firmwares are now live in the dashboard. And where to find those is if you go under Devices on the left-hand side on your menu, click on Devices over there, and then on the top right, click on Add New Device. Select the location you want to add the device to. And down over here, you can now select from all these options. Now, first of all, you'll notice that the My Wi-Fi manufacturer is now changed to Guest Hotspot. It matches the sticker that's now on the back of the devices. So if you order any of these devices or have them, your clients can now add and manage them and obviously not see the My Wi-Fi brand inside your sub-user accounts. So this was, I wouldn't call it a feature, but this is something that we changed by request. And we now have the ability to hide My Wi-Fi right over there. But if you click on Open WRT, you're going to notice that we have a ton of new manufacturers now listed. Keep in mind, we only support the ones that are listed here. And we do that because we are following the Open WRT public source protocol. So we're only using firmwares that have been tested thoroughly with the hardwares that we're working with. That being said, if you go to TP-Link, for example, we definitely have the widest selection of TP-Link models. For example, you can search over here for the specific model you're looking for and make sure that your exact, obviously the manufacturer, but the model name and version number all match up. If they don't match up, it means it probably will not work, okay? And you don't want to use anything that doesn't match up because you could break your device. Now, that being said, there's a lot of options, and I think what you need to do is, if you're looking to source additional hardware in your area, go to your local store and really see what they have available. Now, you can access all of this as well from our support site at support.mywifi.io. If you click on Devices and Hardware, you'll see that we have the whole list over here. If you want to see the entire list as a long list, you can click on the bottom. It says List of Supported Hardware Devices. Now, right over here is where you can purchase, for example, we have 4 main categories of different hardware that you can use: pre-flash devices, cloud controllers, custom device scripts, and flashing your own devices. So here, the first one, pre-flash devices, is buying it from our store. This is the SH50, great for up to 15 simultaneous users. You can plug it in either by cable, USB modem, or tether it to a phone. So this is super flexible. It also has built-in presence analytics, has built-in DNS content filter. Basically, the only thing you need for most small businesses. And you can put more than one of these in if you want. We also have some partners that are using the SH50. They're disabling the Wi-Fi broadcast, and they're just using it for presence, just as a sensor. So you can do that in the dashboard as well. Then down to cloud controllers, we support all the following cloud controllers. Now, this means you already have a Cisco Meraki or Aruba or Extreme Networks Cloud. They're already managing access points. We integrate seamlessly with the cloud controller, so you don't have to touch any firmware or touch any hardware at all. So for instructions on these, you can click on each one, and we talk about that there. Custom device scripts we have for MikroTik, and MikroTik is actually kind of a gateway to a whole bunch of different devices, both routers and gateways, and all different types of hardware that they have. So take a look at MikroTik. Our script will allow you to run this on any MikroTik device. And if you don't know how to do that, just contact a MikroTik professional and they will be happy to do that for you at a very small fee. It's really easy to do if you know what you're doing. And as well, finally, we now allow you to flash your own devices. So as you saw in the dashboard, we have all these different manufacturers you can now choose from. And if you click on that, or just go to the compatible OpenWRT devices support article, we have a list of all of them here. So if you're remote, let's say you're in a store and you want to see, hey, which ones work, you can go over here and kind of figure it out. We are obviously going to build this list and grow this list as we go. We just went with the first round of the stable version. There's other versions available that are all stable that we're going to be exploring down the road. But for now, even Linksys, if I took this model number and I went to Amazon. And you can quickly just search to say, hey, does Amazon have this model? I recommend doing it with the TP links, but here's the device. As you can see, this is like a no BS device. This is really awesome. It's actually now Cisco, but Linksys bought Cisco. Cisco bought Linksys. So this is the device. It is, really, really powerful. Like those who are saying, I want a device that is, I don't have to pay a annual licensing fee for. There's no cloud controller. It's just one device, one location, but I want to be able to support a ton of users. By all means, you can go buy this device now, and you can install our firmware on top of that in just a few clicks, and then just use this as your device. Okay, took a look at this. I'm not sure if there's a rating of how many simultaneous users, but I'm sure you can do a review on that and see how that is. In addition to that, we have obviously the TP-Link, the N300. There's a lot of lower cost options now available as well. And just make sure, again, that you're picking the exact model and version number. There's a ton of devices out there that you could use. And this just makes it really, really, really easy. So let's say the AC device. We have a couple there. And again, you want to just make sure that, let's say you're taking the exact model number. And here we go. This is a 3 antenna. This is probably a great device. I know that TP-Link does make great devices. Now you can install our firmware seamlessly on top of these real easily. So that is that option there. And you can now also want to mention, you can also use Ubiquiti hardware. If you want to install our firmware on top of Ubiquiti and not use the UniFi cloud controller, you can now do that. So, a lot of partners who say, they use Ubiquiti a lot. They might not, sometimes it's like, hey, I don't want to really manage a UniFi cloud. I want presence. I want other things that is not available with Ubiquiti. You can now install our firmware on top of the following Ubiquiti devices to make it work great. That also works, I should mention, with OpenMesh. So let's say you have an old OM2P or an A60. You don't want to use CloudTrax. You just want to flash it and have it just work directly with our system, and also add presence, add a DNS filter, add all these additional things. Simply go download the firmware, add this device, read the instructions with OpenMesh how to install a custom OpenWRT firmware, use our device or our bin file or firmware as the one you use, and you can now obviously integrate and be compatible with a ton of stuff. So this is primarily of interest, I would say, to people who are, let's say, outside of North America, who don't want to order our devices because of shipping times, because of import duties, any of those things. Just go find and source your own devices locally. Make sure it's on the list here, and obviously follow the instructions on how to flash that. If you want to see how to flash your device, I'm just going to run through the support article right here as well. So you go into our support desk under TP-Link, how to install TP-Link firmware. It is super easy. So you buy the TP-Link device from Amazon, Staples, your local hardware store or electronics store. Take the device home, plug it into your router, make sure that there's internet access. You don't actually need that right away, but you do need to make sure that you plug in everything. So you power it in, and then you plug in your router to it. So what you want to do is plug in your computer directly to one of the LAN ports. So regardless of the internet being on the device itself, you obviously need that when you go live. Initially, you don't. You just plug in our device into one of the following LAN ports. You want to set a static IP on your computer. We have full instructions on how to do that just on this article over here. You log into your device. So you go 192.168.1.1 or .0.1, depending on the instruction manual for your device will tell you exactly how to do this. Admin is the username and password. Once you get to the upgrade page, you go System Tools, Firmware Upgrade. You find this page over here. You browse for the file, which is the bin file that we provide to you. It says, are you sure you want to go ahead? It's going to process, reboot, and then obviously you want to make sure that device is now plugged in via WAN port to the internet, and it works the same way any normal device would. So it's real awesome. All right, guys, any questions? And again, if you search for firmware, you're going to see a whole bunch of FAQs over here, where to download your router, where to download the firmware. It's all available. I can actually show you right here. So when you add a device, let's say I want to add a open mesh device outside of CloudTrax. I want to add an OM2P. I put the MAC address in of my device. I click on proceed. Right over here, it's going to say I acknowledge. So obviously, we just have to give you this disclaimer saying that if you don't do things properly and don't follow our instructions, you can break your device. Some of them are recoverable, some of them are not. So you just want to really make sure that you've matched up. You make sure that your model your model type is exactly it. You click I acknowledge. You download the firmware here. You'll see I got a pop-up with a bin file, and then that's the bin file you want to use when you are installing your firmware. All right, so any questions I'd be happy to get to. Just feel free to comment below on this video on Facebook. If it's a personal support question, chat with our support team anytime. But I just really wanted to dive in and show you guys exactly what this means as far as you being able to source almost any hardware locally. Obviously, our store is still open for business. You can always buy devices from there. You can even drop ship right to your clients from there. But this is a great way to use this and have it be totally functional on mostly any device out there. And as well, I want to mention those who are using Meraki Cloud. We are going to be launching a new Meraki integration really soon. Instead of following the 7 steps to adding your Meraki network, it's going to be simply pasting your API key, selecting your network, and auto provisioning and auto setting up everything you need for your Meraki Cloud integration. So that'll make installation literally less than 30 seconds, and you'll be able to kind of get up and running and launch your network in no time. All right, thank you guys for joining us live. I'll see you in the Facebook group and a ton of more live video coming soon. Talk soon, everyone. Take care.